Hi, Abu. Oh no, the mic is not working. I could hear the music earlier. Settings, audio, headphones, Bluetooth, H1 Bluetooth. No, I still cannot hear you. Settings, that's strange. Echo, show advanced options, speakers. Can you say something?
Hamza, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. That's good. I just have a little bit technical difficulties. Okay, let's begin. Welcome to Story Behind a Resume. I'm your host, Abu Sayem, and I'm excited to have you here. For over a decade, I've worked in marketing technologies across consumer packaged goods and quick service restaurants, collaborating with incredible leaders. Through these experiences, I've learned one thing: resumes only tell part of the story. They showcase accomplishments, but what about the struggles, the risks, and the pivotal moments that shape the career? That's where the real story begins. That's why I created Story Behind a Resume to go beyond job titles and bullet points and uncover the real journeys of professionals who have navigated twists, setbacks, and breakthroughs. In this episode, I'm thrilled to sit down with Hamza Momade, Director of Special Projects at Roni Group, a leader in construction management and infrastructure development. We'll explore his career path, the challenges he's overcome, and the leadership lessons that continue to shape his journey. I hope these stories inspire you, challenge you, and remind you that every career path is unique and worth celebrating. Let's dive in and enjoy the conversation. Hi, Hamza. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Abu, for hosting me and for inviting me to your wonderfully created idea.
Thank you for sure. Really glad to be with you here and talking about your career journey. I'll let you introduce yourself. Why don't you go ahead?
So my name is Hamza. Hello to everyone. I currently work as a director at the Roni Group, and I also volunteer with PMI Lakeshore, and that's where I met Abu Sayem on Career Day, and I came to Canada 5 years ago. So I'm a new.
Wow,
I still consider myself a new immigrant.
amazing story, and waiting for to reveal all those. So let's explore Hamza's career journey, starting at the very beginning. We'll discover his educational background, what he studied, and what sparked his passion for that field. Then we'll trace his first steps into the professional world, his very first job, and the factors that influence his choice of role and industry. Finally, we'll hear about defining lessons and early career challenges, those crucial experiences that shaped his trajectory. Hamza, would you please tell us a bit about your educational background for our listeners? And did you become an engineer early on? And how did you, where are you right now?
So my mother played a huge role in my education, and she pushed and had pivotal moments in making sure that I had all the schooling, which was mostly done at home, thanks to her. And I graduated from a civil engineering program in the United Kingdom, of East London, and went further on to work and study at the same time to completing my master's in engineering, PhD in civil
Right.
engineering as well, and then an MBA at the same time. So I'm currently planning to pursue commercial law, which is the next pivotal moment in my career. And education from the beginning has been a lot of emphasis placed on it, and I've been very fortunate that I've had the opportunity to make great strides in this career pathway that I've chosen.
That's fascinating because you've got PhD and you're doing or you completed MBA and a few other certifications I see beside your name. It really inspires me to pursue for certification myself. Yeah, it's really fascinating. Why not you tell us a little bit about your first job? Did you choose the industry because of your education, or how did it all pan out for you?
I think finding first employment was tough, and that's mainly because of not having industry experience, which was the main point of rejections that I was receiving. And second was it was difficult to get visa employments for fresh graduates in the career that I was looking for. But I think through meaningful networking, a word that I learned recently, I was able to attend a Chartered Institute of Building event where I met one of the organizers, and he offered me an interview, and I went on to work for him for the next 7 years. I think that laid the foundation that has helped me push forward in my career and offer a great quality of service that I do in the construction and built environment world. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
Okay,
I can
can you
hear
hear me
you
now?
now. Yes.
Okay,
I
I
thought
need to
I was
switch
the
my
one
mic.
supposed to have technical background
Okay,
issues.
so as I was saying, was there any memorable moment where you realized, you got the first job that it really stood out for you?
I think every day was memorable. I learned the local language and cultures of Malaysia and Singapore. I spent and made some really good friends over the years. I learned a lot of lessons from them. And most of the people I worked with were senior who had significant years of experience, and they did not have the formal education but had more knowledge to offer, which I was
Right.
able to benefit from. So I think that has made a huge difference in my career today.
Wow. What about, would you please share key lessons for our viewers and listeners, throughout that journey?
I think it's important to be patient, and it's it you in the first 10 years of your career you have to put in the hours and make sure that you build strong relationships with
Right.
the workforce and respect every effort that has place, whether no matter how small or big it is.
Right.
And remember that you have to be a team player. So you can't be the smartest person in the room. You have to
Right.
build the whole project with the team around you.
Yeah. And team being in the team and becoming a team player requires a bit of effort and some interpersonal skills. We'd like to hear more about it. Let's dive into your career growth and transition. I'll just give our viewers a little bit of overview. Now that we have explored Hamza's early career, let's dive into his professional evolution. We'll uncover the key milestones that shaped his journey, like promotions, career pivots, and bold transitions into new industries. What drove his decisions, and what risks did he take? And how did those choices redefine his career path? We'll also explore the critical skills he developed to succeed at each stage and his mindset towards continuous learning and growth. So, Hamza, question for you. What are some of your major milestones, decisions, and skills you decided to develop during the course of the experience?
I think becoming a member of Toastmasters was quite pivotal in my level of confidence and my ability to speak and present ideas and to build on communication. I think I did almost 8 to 9 years of public speaking, and I always challenge myself by going on different clubs and speaking in different crowds, which helped me remove that fear of
Hmm.
speaking my ideas and build
Right.
on courage. That's when I decided on migrating to Canada, and it was tough coming to a new country with again recycling my whole career by starting
Right.
from the beginning. But I think I was able to reflect on the skills that I had learned and acquired from the Chartered Institute of Building, from the RICS, from PMI, the continuous professional developments that they have. I benefited from purchasing and going through all knowledge and skills that I could acquire. And that's how I ended up working on one of the largest infrastructure projects that exist in Ontario today.
Oh, and so, is there any pivotal or learning that that stood out that you struggled? Was there any story behind that struggle? Maybe if you want to share a little bit.
I think many people suffer from not having Canadian experience, which is the result of them not being able to acquire the positions that they're looking for.
Right.
But after working in the sector, I realized there is a lack of knowledge, and it in order to improve workflows, in order to be more efficient, which construction continues to lack and be behind, and which is why we are so over budget,
Right.
delayed in most projects. There are lawsuits, disputes that exist very and becoming more and more common, and which is why
Right.
there's such a huge rise of dispute related firms in Canada.
Right.
There is a lack of knowledge, and we as the builders or part of the building community have to continuously acquire that knowledge, and that doesn't only come from books, but it also
Right.
comes from learning from seniors, learning from construction methodologies, learning from YouTube videos, PM project management body of knowledge books that exist, the guidelines that have been developed that
Right.
can improve these issues, that challenges we are facing today. So
Right.
that's the milestone that I'm looking to create next.
And what would be some of the skill set that you built, like specifically if someone wants to get into construction? What are the three most um, desired skill set that employers would like to see in someone who is studying or who is trying to pursue that career?
You need to be technically sound, and that comes from knowledge that you can gain from engineering related courses.
Right.
Number two, you need to have strong communication skills, and that doesn't mean to be the loudest person in the room, but the person that listens and
Right.
actively and is able to give effective solutions. And I would say the third one would be you have to enjoy it. Whatever
Yeah.
you do, if you don't enjoy it, then you're in the wrong business. This is a stressful, very highly stressful related sector.
Right.
Mental well-being issues are on the rise, and they will continue to be on the rise because it's not. It's very challenging.
Right.
Contracts, disputes, actual work on site, working during winter outside. It's not
Mm.
easy,
Right.
but it is also very rewarding. So no matter how much effort you put in, you will be rewarded, and you will live a more sustainable career and life.
Thank you for sharing that. Was there any of the skills that you developed? For example, let's say communication. Did you go through any kind of formal training, or I mean, maybe communication you already explained with Toastmaster where you developed it, but being technical, is that related to being good at maths, or you have to develop it by taking extra courses or having a mentor? Uh, how was your experience around developing technical skill set?
Basic maths knowledge is more than sufficient,
Right.
but understanding how to apply that knowledge in the real world and not be dependent on books or using ChatGPT to answer questions. You have to be the carrier of knowledge and not trying to use or find knowledge because you don't have all the time in the world. We are
Right.
working on crunch basis, so we have to be agile. We have to be fast in responding on our feet, and
Right.
perhaps spending time looking at YouTube videos on how construction steps are and trying to visualize and be able to relate to them would
Right.
make things easier for those that begin their career.
I see. And as a teacher, when you are speaking to your students, and you know, um, besides those three, have you? Is there any cue that you can, recognize among the students, like this student is going to be ahead of the goal, and if so, what would that be? If you can share for our viewers, so that they can actually hone their skills on that area.
The students that I have worked with in a very short time have been very curious. They ask very good questions,
Right.
questions that even I find difficult to answer sometimes, but I do come back to them with the
Right.
solutions. And they're always one step ahead of me, which is something that I really appreciate because it keeps me chasing them rather than them chasing me.
Right.
So I really enjoy being behind, but they're always in front. They don't only just read the slides that I share with them, but they actually spend the time acquiring more knowledge and investing on themselves. And I think it shows in their grades. Majority of them do very well, and
Right.
they deserve it.
Well, so somebody who's studying right now, it'd be your advice would be to do research either by YouTube or by books, and obviously there is now immense power of AI. Are you pro AI or anti AI at this time? What do you say?
No, I've always been pro AI. I've used AI before it even became popular. My
Okay.
whole PhD is on AI
Oh,
and
wow.
production and modeling. I think
Right.
I've explored multiple machine learning databases, uh, created models and simulations. And AI has been around for a very long time. It's just that
Right.
recently people have learned how to use it, and people are now still learning. I think there are lots of businesses and solutions coming up because of the technology exponential boom of AI.
Right. Right.
I'm pro AI.
Wow. Thanks for that advice. I hope whoever is listening can take that into account and develop his skill set, develop the knowledge, and go forward and pursue a career in construction. All right. So let's deep dive into your career role and industry insights right now. Um, so in this segment, let's talk about Hamza's defining moments that shaped his career path, including job changes and career transition. Something like his education also probably pivoted him. So we would like to explore his motivation and obstacles that influenced his career choices. So Hamza, maybe you can talk about a little bit of your obstacles that you overcame, some of the influences that you had in your career, and also about your current role as a director of Roni Group.
I worked on some extremely challenging design related projects on residential world, and then I switched to completely commercial, building offices, factories, and then I switched again to high rise construction when we went to own one of the largest Ontario's developers.
Right.
And after that, I went to subdivisions, building small homes, 100, 200 homes, and now on infrastructure. I think the change has been rewarding, and it's only come at the expense of challenging myself. I love to challenge. I love to find new ideas and be creative, and find ways of managing projects with innovative skills rather than book based or old ancient questions. I always ask why. I hate it when
Right.
people tell me that this is how we used to do it. I say, how do we change it? How do we make it better? And I think
Right.
that's the word or the idea that has led me to continue pushing the boundaries of management and construction management in specific.
And while you are implementing those responsibilities at your current role, was there any challenge that keeps you awake at night, or any issues that says, gives you a lot of stress, and how did you deal about those?
The infrastructure world is very stressful. There is not. I don't have much sleep. We spend a lot of time working. We work overtime almost every day, and it's been like that for almost a few years now.
Right.
But at the same time, products are. We are ahead in terms of the production. We are solving problems all the time, and it's you have to enjoy it. It's to be able to work in such an industry. Yes, people try to put limits and try to focus on their health, which is also important, and I agree 100%. I also
Right.
do the same, but it's a tough industry, and you have to adhere to ethical guidelines, construction norms, and find ways of just making things happen. There's not enough time. We're always chasing and rushing.
Right.
And then lots of people give up. I've seen many people in the sector that I work in, that people that I used to work with together, that have left the industry, that have left the sector completely, or and they just can't do it. And they spent all their years studying and building this knowledge, and they just give up right when they see the challenges. So you have to face those challenges, and you have to make things better for yourself. If technology is the way, let's adopt it rather than using the same old ways of doing things.
Right.
Perhaps that would be the answer.
Thanks for sharing that. Is there an example that you have in your life that is like a highlight that you want to share? Completely okay if not.
In terms of
Like, say you have to work really hard and you couldn't y- achieve where it is, even after working a lot, and then how you
oh,
overcame. Was there any turning point that helped, or anything that you did that helped?
failure has been my ally. I have no issues in failing. I've failed many times in my life, and it's not like I love to fail. I hate it, but I don't mind failing, and I think that's what
Right.
has helped me. The more I fail, the more I learn, and I get better at it.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong in failing as long as you put effort. That's the most important thing in my career, master. You have to show effort. Whether you fail, you succeed. That's fine, but at least you must do your part.
Right. Right. And there is a saying that's is out there. You know, the faster you fail, the more you can pick up yourself, and you have to fail fast in order to know which direction you have to go after you pick up. So fail fast is, a lot of companies I've seen, it's their motto, like try and fail so that you know how to pick yourself up. There is one area where failure is not really an option, and this is a historic um, quote, from the mission control where there was an announcement that says failure is not an option. What do you think of that kind of statement when there is no option left for failure?
Yeah, when you're dealing with clients, failure is not an option. But I think being human is more important than being a perfectionist. And I'm a team player. I respect
Right.
people's efforts, and I have no issues in having them fail. But as long as they're putting in the effort, they're trying their best. You appreciate it, and we work as a team and help each other. That's how I think we should be growing together, rather than blaming each other and pushing
Right.
aside all the negative energy.
Right. And one last question. Being in the current role, obviously you are accountable for many things, many people. Um, so when it comes to something that failed because of whatever reason, logistics or a person's not achieving something on time, how do you address that kind of situation, or how would you advise the
We
people?
we sit down and talk about it. We try to find the root causes, find corrective and preventive actions, and move on.
Right. We're all humans, so mistakes will probably be happening, and we have to learn to live about it, right? So that's also something I abide by all the time. I'm a human being. Nobody's perfect as a human being. Um, as long as we are honest and having a best effort possible to reveal, hey, there was a mistake, and this is something I have done, instead of hiding or trying to blame somebody else. I think that's the best way forward. Thanks for sharing that advice and wisdom. Um, One more question I have is, to stay current in your current industry, like, in the construction, other than education, um, what other um, activities that you do? I know you volunteer as well, but how do you keep yourself up to date?
I do attend a lot of events. I
Yeah.
meet a lot of people. I listen to trends. I read magazines. I watch videos. I listen a lot more than I speak. And
Okay.
that's most people don't realize that I don't talk as much as people think I do. I'm a very quiet person. And I think the more I listen, the more I read, it allows me to stay current.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, reading is, nowadays I've seen, reading is not really encouraged. You know, I have to force myself to read. It's not in my practice. Uh, I haven't grown up in an environment where reading is encouraged, other than at school. And at school, everyone is kind of encouraged to read your material to prepare for your homework or vice versa. But reading for the sake of gaining knowledge, for the sake of increasing your knowledge or honing your skill set, even theoretical, like even if I've learned algebra at high school, I still go back and try to validate, is, it a square plus b square is equals to this. Sometimes, it requires reading and retraining, refreshing, the memory, to make sure that the knowledge we have learned so far is accurate or up to date. Any publications that you write to, or you contribute to, or you're fond of, that you share, read all the time to keep up to date?
I I write on Global Construction Review. I've written a few articles on that, but I've also published on Taylor and Francis on scientific publications. I think I'm working on two road modeling related publications right now, which
Right.
should be published soon under Institution of Civil Engineers.
That's amazing. I would like to have, find out your publications. Is there any highlighted publication that you want to mention for our viewers?
I think there's publications on AI, on technology adoption, on sustainable construction. I don't write much, but there are a few articles that I've written. It's taken me almost 1 or 2 years just to get them published. So it was quite an effort, but thankfully it went through. And they're quite high on the index as well, so they're considered good reading material. But I think now they're outdated. They were written like 2 3 years ago. Every day we're having new innovations and new ideas coming in. So
That's right.
perhaps I have to start writing again to keep up with it.
Exactly. And if you can imagine, by looking at last 6 months development of AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, it's just exponential. How do you keep up with that, right? And do you even, from a company perspective, how do you even deploy those quickly enough so that you have enough productivity? By the time you deploy, there is another version, there is another way of working, or another version, things that you never imagined can be done. Is there anything that should be done? Should we slow it down? What's your perspective on that?
No, keep pushing the boundaries.
Breaking the status quo. I like that.
Yes, disrupt the industry.
Disrupt. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, so in our next segment is basically about advice for career growth. So now that we have explored your valuable insights, how you have grown yourself from education to your current role as a director, would like to explore, how to bring one's career forward. The crucial skills and qualities needed to succeed in this field. You have already mentioned a few. Would love to deep dive on that. So I think the listener would love to hear your thoughts on this. What are some of the essential skills and traits to success in this particular field? I know you've mentioned three, but would love to know more.
Working with your heart, uh, putting in the time, being able to use that knowledge that you've gained and put into practice, listening to others. You have to keep listening to everyone, respecting others, and being honest in your abilities and being honest in your output and the value that you bring to the company, and keep bringing new skills so that you can add more value. The more value you add, the better you become and the more valuable.
I know a formula in order to keep up one a little bit up to the speed. There is a 70, 20, 10. 70 is your experience, 20 is education, and 10 is networking. So I want to expand a little bit on the 10% networking. I feel like networking is underestimated here. So would you mind sharing some of your networking experience? Because at the beginning you said, networking helped you in a lot of ways, and you have started more regularly on that.
I think we're now organizing an event called Engineering Meet, which is hosted through PMI Lakeshore, and that's all about networking, informal networking, meeting people, building your professional careers, and widening the span of the people that you know. So that's what we've initiated, and it's been so successful so far. I think we've got almost 20, 25 people coming to each event, and we've done something similar called a breakfast session, which is on a working day, but it's with the RICS, and similar informal working sessions, just talking to people, learning about what they're doing. I think having a strong professional network can bring you very far in your career, further than all the education, all the hours that you put in to work. And knowing the right person is very important. And you can't just know everyone, but you have to build meaningful relationships with them as well. I spend a lot of time just not knowing people, but also building those relationships, supporting their growth, helping them wherever I can. And I think that's what has helped me in my career as well.
I remember when I first joined or went to the career fair. I've met you. I never imagined, you know, um, it. Our. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, I hear some echo. That's why. So I never imagined that, we would come this far. I would develop a good, meaningful relationship with you where I get to know you personally, and I'm inviting you to as an esteemed guest here to talk about your career growth. So I would say this is one of the most successful networking result. Or after networking, you can imagine, like, okay, I went there, I met a bunch of people. What is the outcome of it, right? A lot of people don't see it, don't realize it, but in front of me, this is a live or a great example where networking, meaningful networking, turned into something great, turned into a great uh, relation between you and I, and you are able to be my guest and spread that word of encouragement, of inspiration. Another example from my life, obviously, and you can totally you have seen me how I have networked with various people, and then my present job I actually got through networking because I went through the painstaking um, I would say exercise of reaching out to whoever I know, reaching out to whoever I've met during the networking events. Um, I wanted to ask you for your something that happened to you as well through networking that you think was a beneficial outcome or something that helped you move forward. Is there one? And would love to hear that.
I think you are a great motivation and you bring a lot of positive energy. And I think that's why I came and accepted this invitation. It's only
Thank you.
because of the motivation that you gave me, and your story was a great success that we should always admire and learn from. I would
Thank you.
say networking has been important for me. All my suppliers, all my jobs that I received, every single friend that I have is through networking. All my current subcontractors that I've hired is through networking. Knowing them, building relationships, finding success together, taking failures together too. So we learn together, we grow together, and I think that's how we build meaningful and build big teams that can successfully get things done.
Thanks for sharing that. And is there anything that you do to keep up? You meet so many people through your engineering meet or other events. How do you keep up or keep track of the number of people that you meet uh, that had a meaningful, um, obviously a meaningful connection? Is there any spreadsheet that you keep? Okay, these are the people I know, or occasionally you just remember, hey, I remember that guy I talked to, and you reach out to. How do you keep up to that?
I don't talk to more than three people in any event that I attend. I don't care whether those three people are the most important people in the room, but I limit myself to three people, and that's it. So
Okay.
that's why I remember them. I can't talk to everyone. It just takes away so much time and wastes so much time.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for sharing that tips. At least whoever is trying to network, do it on a quality basis, not a quantity. I would say instead of reaching out to 50 people, reach out to 5 people with meaningful connections so that you remember and you can leverage their knowledge and give back as well. Cool. Our next segment is a fun segment. I usually ask my guest rapid fire question so that you can quickly answer. So, are you ready, Hamza?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. What's the best career advice you've ever received?
Don't be a bystander, be the difference.
Awesome. A book or podcast that influenced your career?
Good versus Great from Jim Collins, my favorite book.
Wow. One skill everyone should learn?
Listen and relax, be calm, enjoy your life, enjoy your career.
A mistake that taught you the most?
Don't waste time.
Uh, if you could do one thing differently in your career, what would that be?
Take more risk when you're younger. It's easier,
Right.
doesn't pain much.
And if I were to say, describe your career journey in 3 words, what would they be?
Lose, lose a lot, and then win. Keep winning.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. Hamza, this is such a pleasure. I've learned a lot of new things, a lot of new perspectives. Any final thoughts or words of encouragement for the audience, for me as well?
Thank you so much for organizing such a great session. It's so organized. It's insane. Detailed. Every single document, the link, everything was on time. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time that you've taken to talk to me and put me on your platform. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Hamza, for being with me and being my esteemed guest. And your compliment, I'll remember that for a long time. I'm trying my best to bring people's stories out there so that they get inspired. And your story surely stood out. And I thought, when I heard about your journey when you came to Canada, I thought, you should be the guest and people should learn about it. And being a teacher, being a mentor, being a coach, uh, I couldn't find any lack of you're just way interesting to know about. So thank you so much again. A huge thanks for tuning in to Story Behind a Resume. Want to learn more about our awesome guests or connect with future speakers? Make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll find the links in the description. And guess what? We're planning even more amazing sessions with folks from tech, marketing, finance, and more, all sharing their career stories and advice. So don't miss out and hit those follow button on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The handle is @story behind a resume. Love listening on the go. We'll be publishing this session in podcast as well on Apple and Spotify. So keep an eye out for that and follow us on LinkedIn to stay updated on new episodes and podcast releases. And hey, if you are a pro with a cool career story to share, we want to hear from you. Connect with us on LinkedIn and let's chat about featuring you on Story Behind a Resume. Thanks again for joining us. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories that go beyond resume. Keep learning